Welcome to the channel, viewers. This is Pro Theologist channel. The life of Muhammad and the verified revelation structure of the people of the book, episode 42. The collision inside the soul, in particular the soul of the Muslim. Because the conflict's no longer hidden beneath behaviour alone, beneath ideology alone. Now it stands between two paths, two authorities and two outcomes. The Muslim listener still hears the same command repeated constantly: submit, obey, conform, protect the structure. But another voice has now entered the tension, not calling for performance, calling for freedom. In the previous episode, the Messiah entered the narrative as the extinguisher of inward corruption itself. And in this episode, the collision sharpens. The obedience of the messenger versus surrender to the Messiah. Because the Muslim inside the Islamic ideological system increasingly begins noticing something difficult to ignore. Obedience to Allah and the Messenger continues regulating behave outwardly, while inward temptation, shame, fantasy, bitterness, fear, resentment, and hidden corruption keep surviving underneath the obedience. And that realization for the Muslim becomes terrifying, not politically, not personally, because the soul begins understanding the difference between restraint and freedom. Muhammad's Islamic ideological system initially associated itself with the people of the book to establish its legitimacy and influence wherever it went. But the sacred meanings carried among the people of the book were concerned with deliverance from the inward dominion of sin itself. And Muhammad's ideology, Muhammad's structure completely missed how this works in religious structures. And that distinction now becomes confrontational, because one system, the Islamic ideology, increasingly governs through obedience, law, submission, preservation, fear, and external conformity, while the Messiah increasingly confronts inward corruption itself, the hidden lust, the inward rage, the secret fantasy life, the resentment towards truth, the divided identity, the double life growing underneath religious appearance. And the people of the book were repeatedly warned that externally governed righteousness could expose corruption without abolishing it. Where righteousness becomes performance, inward evil adapts beneath the appearance. It survives, it hides, and it spreads, and it eventually produces its fruit openly. Corruption seizes opportunity through what we think we need to do or not do personally to make in this case Allah and the Messenger, happy or stop them from being sad. And this was a principle Muhammad completely missed. And through Islam, secret sensuality, fantasy and appetite privately cultivated beneath disciplined appearance thrived. Enmity, hostility towards voices threatening the structure's authority and emotional security manifested. And religious coercion, the pressure, shame and fear used to preserve conformity and allegiance, intensified. And so externally managed righteousness may regulate behaviour publicly, no matter what the religion, but in this case Islam. But inward corruption continues spreading wherever these performance principles are pushed, and temptation survives unhealed. Fear will govern the conscience, and appearance will replace inward freedom. And the people of the book exposed the danger directly, but Muhammad missed it. The sinful passions were aroused through religious obediences, Romans 7:5. And that warning matters enormously now for both the people of the book, the Jews, the Christians, because the Muslim listener increasingly realizes the paradox. The more structure demands outward obedience, the more inward war keeps exposing itself underneath. The Qur'anic submission structure repeatedly reinforces allegiance to the Messenger, not the Messiah. Quran 4:59, obey Allah and obey the Messenger. But the Messiah of the Christians, enters differently, not demanding another performance, not building another fear structure, not strengthening another outward system. The Messiah enters calling the exhausted sinner to himself. The corrupted man, the divided soul, the one secretly losing the war underneath the appearance. Come to me, the Messiah says, and I will give you rest. And eventually the question becomes unavoidable inside the Muslim listener. If obedience to the Messenger cannot free the soul from inward corruption, why does the Messiah offer freedom through faith instead of performance? The room grows tense. The collision sharpens. One path keeps demanding surrender to the structure, the Islamic ideology. The other offers inward freedom from sin through faith by grace in the Messiah and the Father. And for the Muslim soul, the Muslim can now feel the enmity between these two ideologies. I'm Dr. J.W. Ayub, theologist since 1994. Like, subscribe, comment to educate me, and share to help somebody else. Bye for now.